activate your true divine self. Activate your true divine self. Now, how we do this? Okay, I'm going to read this because I think it's so cool. That all that a death, fear, and guilt, get this, all that a death, fear, and guilt mental attitude, death, fear, and guilt mental attitude, all it does is produce suffering through ignorance of one's true, eternal, divine self. Yes. All then that death, fear, and guilt-based mentality does is generate suffering with moments of pleasure, a little alleviation, but a lot of hope. And then there's hopelessness. You basically think of yourself as a musical instrument. And that musical instrument is at such a fine level that when you're in the divine state, it's so etheric. There is no measure. And, you know, I told you I tuned my piano to 432, which is so cool. And 432 hertz, that means when you hit A, the frequency or vibration is 432. It's also the frequency of the body. Well, my little kitty cat, what happened was I think she got maybe bit by a rattlesnake or something. Not a heavy duty bust, but she was probably putting her little face where she shouldn't be putting it. So anyway, how she came through it, you know, what I used in treating her and all of that. Well, one of the things I did is I took my tuning fork that's 432, and you hit it on, and I would do this around her. She would relax, you see. And even one day when she was a little nervous and everything, and I would do this, she calmed right down, and so I'd do it to myself. I would hit the tuning fork, 432, and then you just use it. You see this vibrational healing. It's really nice. And just so our consciousness sends out a vibration. Our attitude, you can be around someone who's just angry and nasty. You could just feel it because you start to take on their stuff because their frequency, their energy is so nasty, you see. Or someone who's really moody or passive aggressive. Harboring resentment and saying they feel fine when they don't, and because they're not owning their own emotions and feelings, their own thoughts, what they're believing, what they're accepting, what they're focusing on. And that kind of a mentality is all it. What it is ignorance of our true divine self. But most people, they don't know who their true divine self is. It's given a few little things in different religions. It tells you this or that, but you have to stay within that group or you're out. Well, fine. You know, you don't want to belong to any group where you have to be a member and then they're going to kick you out if you don't stay the party line. And it's like, well, I don't identify myself as some political party. I don't identify myself by anything that's material. Not at all. But it's an interesting thing in the Vedas that teaches that all living entities are feminine, which means not the body. It's talking about feminine, the nature of our being as lovers of God, of the divine within, that we are partners with. Why would not you? See, I don't love me. I don't love Terry. This is a lave. Terry's a sound vibration. It isn't even me. But it is, and no, I can appreciate and maintain this body. You know, that's what I'm doing. It's not cursing my own body and hating it. No, I'll just, take care of it. But it's like I love myself, which myself and the self of every self is super soul or super self that we all have in common because we're all the same and different, which is so cool. And the investment that we make in studying and learning and getting knowledge, and because, if you're investing that's why I always thought these games are so absolutely stupid, so many, because why would I want to invest my life in some kind of this thing of a game when I could invest myself in divine pleasure of the soul? of who I am, and living in the divine of the miraculous in every moment that's meant to be. People say, oh yeah, it's a fantasy, it's not the really way it is. No, you mean, but you could suffer all the time, and you have a fear-based mentality, a guilt-based mentality, the fear of death, which is the greatest lie that's ever been put, that terrorizes everybody, because you're going to lose your stuff. Doesn't that show you don't need stuff? Yeah, we need some stuff for the body, but all the stuff we think we have that we're going to build up, they're going to invest in. People think, oh, I own my house. You don't own your house, you rent it. If you don't pay taxes, it's not yours. No. Sorry about that. But hey, you know what? When you're in the flow, you know it all belongs to the divine. Because you're living now a divine life. Because you're acknowledging and being who you really are. Yeah. What greater investment could there be? I think I've probably invested millions and millions of what they call dollars, which is true, in my consciousness. Nobody can take that from me because I don't have to believe thoughts. I don't have to have memories. When you're in the now and the know, whatever you need to know, you know. And whatever you desire to know, you have a request in the inner being, it is given to you. But oh no, I'll make the false the real. And because that's not possible. But it's possible in the false, the virtual, but it's not possible in you. That's a copy. That's a virtual copy. It's not even a real copy or shadow or copy. No. Nothing and no thing can compare to who you are. And as you recognize and realize that, you no longer have fear, you see. You are in the place of the divine.